Hi, let us look back to what we have learned so far in our journey. We started our discussion with basic syntax, variables, and data types, then moved forward to operations in Python, which was a big chunk among this entire course. We have done with 20% of our course. Now, today, moving forward to learn control statements. Now, let us see how Python is going to make decisions. What do you mean by these decisions? Imagine yourself lying on your bed and then you remember that you had some work outside. So basically what you do, you just look out of your window. It's actually sunny day. So I just wear my sunglasses and go for my work. Now get back to the same situation where you were lying on your bed. Yeah, I had to go for work, and when I look out of the window, it's raining. So now what should I do? I take an umbrella and go out. Here, as we are humans, we tend to make decisions to achieve particular goal, like choosing between sunglasses and umbrella. Now, how do we teach these to Python? Here comes the concept of conditional statements, which allows decisions based on conditions. Decision making with conditional statements. Conditional statements allows user program to make decisions and execute code based on conditions. They evaluate true or false expressions and execute the corresponding block. Here, conditional statements basically evaluate particular condition in terms of true or false. If it's true, it executes the respective block. If it's false, it also have corresponding blocks to be executed. So it decides whether the program should flow towards true or false based on the condition. Now let us explore what is the block of code. You might have already know what a block of code refers to. If you observe in some other language like Java, we basically use parentheses to represent a block of code. If you have not yet discovered that block of code, let us learn right here. Now let us go with this workflow to have a basic knowledge of what conditional statement is. We initialize a equal to 10, and next here comes the decision block wherein it checks whether a is greater than 18 or not. If it is greater than 18, it moves toward true and prints go. Whereas it is false, it goes to print statement and stop. Conditional statements refers to this. A is greater than 18. This is the condition, and altering the flow between true and false is the job of conditional statements. If we see, conditional statements are further classified into if statement, if-else statement, if-else ladder, and nested if-else. Let us explore these four in here. Conditional statements. Let us first go with if statement. Execute a block only if a condition is true. Here, if statement refers to just this part of the code where false is not yet defined. If statement executes a block only if a condition is true. Let us see this example. Imagine yourself in a scenario where you need to vote, but you are only eligible to vote when you are above 18 years. We are implementing these in Python. We are initializing age with 18 and then checking if, see the syntax. We write if statement using if keyword and the condition that needs to be satisfied. If age is greater than or equals to 18, print you are eligible to vote. Now, here comes a scenario where what we should do when your age is not greater than or equals to 18. Here comes if else statement. We initialized age equals to 16 and checking whether age is greater than or equals to 18 or not. 16 is not greater than 18. So, this block is not going to be executed. I was talking about block but did not say what actually block refers to. Here, everything that comes under if statement comes under if block, and everything that comes under else statement considered as else block. Now, how are we going to define these blocks? Using indentation. We have a topic called indentation in Python where we indent particular lines to assign that particular line to a block of code. Now, indentation generally refers to four white spaces in Python. So, before print statement, we have four white spaces so that this print statement goes under the if block. Similarly, this print statement has indentation to come under else block. Now, whenever age is greater than or equals to 18, it prints if block, which is print you are eligible to vote. Now, if it is not greater than 18 in this scenario where 16 is less than 18, so it prints you are too young to vote. What if I have multiple conditions to be satisfied? Let me explain this with nested if else statement where number equals to 10, we initialized num with 10 and we are checking whether this number is positive or negative and also checking whether this number is even or odd. Now we are having two scenarios which is to check whether the number is positive or not and also to check whether the number is even or odd. So we basically use nested if else in these kind of situations. If num is greater than 0, it enters to if block of num is greater than 0. You can observe we have indentation right here. We have further conditions after passing this num greater than 0 condition, which is if num percentile 2 is equals to 0. That means we are checking whether the given number is even or not. It has passed that it is a positive number. So we basically have positive in both the print statements, but even or odd is determined by inner if else condition, which is nested if else is a structure where we have if statements inside a if statement. So 10 is an even, this is going to print positive even number. Now when it is an odd number, it is going to print positive odd. When it is not a positive number, which is like negative -5, -6 and all, it prints number is 0 or a negative. Now let us observe this practically. This is the same example that we were using when age is initialized to 10 and here if statement checks whether age is greater than or equals to 18. Now what output are we going to expect? Yeah, you are not eligible to vote because 10 is less than 18. So it is going to skip this block and this block of code is executed as it is under else statement. Now we have done with if else. What if I have multiple conditions need to be checked to give a single output? Here comes the concept of if else ladder. Let me explain this through this example. Let us initialize marks with 65 and checking whether this is greater than or equals to 90. If it is greater than or marks is greater than or equals to 90, it is going to print this block, like execute this block. Else, it is going to check another condition, which is marks is greater than or equals to 75. This can be constructed using elif keyword. Remember these keywords. Till now we have covered if, elif and else. So I want you guys to remember these keywords and their operations. Like if is used to check whether the condition is true or not. And if it is true, it is going to execute this block and stops right there. But if it fails, it skips this block and again checks the next one, marks greater than or equals to 50. Now, if even this going to fail, in the end, else statement is going to be executed where marks is greater than where marks is equals to 75, which is less than 90 and even less than 75. So obviously the grade going to be C because 65 is greater than 50 and less than 75. So output is going to be grade C. Yeah, grade C as expected. Then the same example of nested if else. Let me take out this negative one. Yeah, I hope you might have guessed the output, which is going to be positive even number. Positive even number. Now I will change something. Now you are going to print the output. I have changed this to -10 instead of 10. Now what is going to be the output? First it checks whether the number is greater than or equals greater than 10 or not. As -10 is less than 10, this condition is going to be failed, which returns as false. So this block is going to be skipped and else statement is going to be executed where number is 0 or either negative. Let me execute this. It is going to be us number is 0 or negative. So now let us have a problem combining the logical operators. If you are still not confident about operators, I suggest you to watch the previous video. The card might have displayed right above. So click on that and watch that operations in Python video and come back right here. So now let us go with this problem. Here I am initializing temperature with 32 and checking the temperature whether if it is greater than 30 and less than 45, I am considering it has a hot day, and any condition other than this, the block between 30 and 40 is considered as moderate temperature. Even if it is goes to negative also, our output is going to be moderate temperature because we are just checking whether the number is between 30 or 40. So here the value of temperature is 32. So I know you might have guessed the output. Obviously, it is going to be, it's a hot day. So let me check this using 65 degrees Celsius. Temperature is moderate. The 65 considered as moderate? No. But we have written our logic in that way. When I take this 20, temperature is moderate. Here comes the real world example. Imagine yourself logging into your Google account and you entered the invalid login email. Google says that, hey man, you have entered your wrong credentials. Here, this is going to be taken care by conditional statements. Let us dive into this example. Here we are going to take username as an input and password as well, and checking whether the password which the username and the password which user entered is equals to admin and its respective password 1234 or not. If user enters these details, we mark it as successfully logged. Else we say that user that they are invalid credentials. So now let us execute this. First let me enter the wrong details. I don't know the password of my account. So I enter username and password is 12345. Yeah, invalid credentials. Here I entered two statements wrong, that is username and password. Now what if I enter the correct password even though I entered wrong username? It is still going to give us invalid credentials because here we use AND, which combines both the logics to enter into if block. These both conditions need to be satisfied. Either of the one fails, it is going to give us the else block one. So now let me enter the correct credentials. Now login successful. Now stop right here and do this practice challenge. I will give you 1 minute time to solve the first problem. I am going to see you, watch you doing. Challenge yourself. Are you able to understand the concepts which we are learning and able to apply them in this? Let us see the first problem. Write a program that checks whether given number is positive, negative or 0. This is similar one that we were discussing. So apply that logic here. So let me start the timer. Timer starts here. It's done. I hope you have solved this problem. If not, let us solve it together now. Let me get back to Google Colab, positive, negative or 0. First task for us is to take the number from the user, that is input, and number, and then convert this into an integer. Convert the username input to an integer. Typecasting. This is the concept that we discussed in our first video. And then if num is greater than 0, print positive. Elif, because now we are going to check another condition. If num is less than 0, then print negative. As we passed both conditions, we were able to segregate positive as well as negative. Now what is left? 0. So else print 0. That's it. Now it is going to work. Let me execute this. I enter, let me have a number. I will go with 20. Enter. As 20 is positive, we got it as positive. Now let me enter a negative number, minus 10. As it is negative, we got output as negative. Now let me enter 0. Gives us output as 0. Here we had three conditions, that is to check whether positive, negative or 0. So we used two conditions to check and other condition as a default, which is else statement. I hope you understood this concept. Now similarly, you are going to solve other challenges like second, third and fourth. You just have three problems to be completed. So I want you to do that. You made this far and ever wonder how Python handles repetitive tasks? Click on this and meet me on the other side. Let us see how Python uses loops to handle this. Until then, this is SP signing off.